The film My Doctor's Secret Life revolves around Dr. Veronica West, a psychiatrist dedicated to holistic treatment methods without resorting to medications. The narrative unfolds as it delves into her professional commitments, personal challenges, and the intense emotional connections she forms with her patients and colleagues. Initially, Veronica is portrayed at the peak of her career as a respected psychiatrist and author, managing a demanding schedule filled with patient appointments, book signings, and public speaking engagements. Her mentor, Dr. Elizabeth Summers, serves as a crucial influence, urging Veronica to adhere to her core values despite the temptations of fame. However, Veronica's commitment to her patients sometimes creates tension, especially when it conflicts with her rising public profile. Conflict arises early in the film when Matthew, a patient who's improved under Veronica's care, declares he no longer needs therapy. While he expresses gratitude towards her guidance, their professional relationship spirals when he attempts to pursue a personal connection, breaching professional boundaries. Although Veronica endeavors to keep their interactions professional, she finds herself entangled in the emotional complexities, leading to devastating consequences. The tragedy occurs when Matthew, stricken by rejection from Veronica, spirals into a downward path of heavy drinking, culminating in a fatal car crash. This incident sends Veronica into a whirlwind of guilt and self-doubt, prompting her to question her effectiveness as a therapist. She grapples with haunting thoughts. Did she overlook critical warning signs? Could she have intervened more decisively? These reflections intensify the psychological drama that permeates the film. In the midst of this turmoil, Veronica encounters Brianna, a new patient suffering from recurrent nightmares and insomnia. Initially resistant to hypnotherapy, Brianna ultimately agrees to try it, leading to sessions that uncover fragmented memories and underlying trauma. However, as their sessions progress, Brianna's behavior becomes increasingly erratic, hinting at deeper secrets she harbors. Simultaneously, the plot thickens when Veronica's office is burglarized, with her laptop containing sensitive patient recordings stolen. This incident raises alarming questions about the motives behind the break-in and the potential threat to her practice. Brianna's sudden curiosity about Veronica's personal and professional life casts suspicion on her, adding to the film's sense of intrigue. As the story unfolds, Veronica grapples with ethical dilemmas, personal connections, and professional integrity while facing the unforeseen challenges that come with her chosen path as a psychiatrist. My Doctor's Secret Life intricately interweaves themes of mental health, boundaries, and the psychological toll of therapeutic relationships. Professional dilemmas and personal sacrifices. Veronica West, a dedicated psychiatrist known for her unconventional methods that prioritize hypnosis and therapy over medication, faces significant challenges in both her professional and personal life. The financial struggles affecting the state hospital where she previously worked lead to unfortunate layoffs, and her mentor, Dr. Elizabeth Summers, finds herself in dire straits. Elizabeth's request for a substantial loan exposes the financial constraints that Veronica grapples with, creating a strain in their relationship. This tension illustrates the emotional toll of balancing professional responsibilities and personal loyalty, a central theme in the film. Climactic revelations. As Veronica investigates the case of her patient Brianna, she uncovers an unsettling connection to another patient, Matthew, suggesting their paths crossed prior to them becoming her patients. This revelation raises suspicions about Brianna's true motives, hinting that she may be manipulating Veronica in light of Matthew's tragic death. The complexity escalates when Veronica's computer is stolen, leading to the public release of confidential recordings that threaten her professional reputation. In a bid to safeguard her patient's privacy, Veronica collaborates with Detective Cortez to track down the thief. The film's tension culminates in a dramatic confrontation where Brianna's intentions are unveiled, compelling Veronica to make a painful decision for her safety and the welfare of her patients. A peek into Veronica's life. Veronica's personal life is portrayed as relatively isolated despite her professional acclaim, highlighted by the successful publication of her book on mental health recovery. Her deep commitment to her work leaves limited space for social connections, with Dr. Elizabeth Summers serving as one of her few sources of support and guidance. The film illustrates the dichotomy between her professional success and the emotional demands inherent in her practice. Early interactions with her patient Rebecca Baxter reveal the positive impact of Veronica's work, showcasing her effectiveness as a psychiatrist and the ethical dilemmas she faces as she becomes increasingly involved in her patients' lives. The narrative tension escalates when Robbie, her publicist, pressures Veronica to prioritize book promotions over her clinical work, presenting a conflict that tests her values. While Robbie advocates for a broader reach through her book, Veronica remains committed to the belief that meaningful therapy is rooted in personal connections, positioning her at a crossroads between professional advancement and her dedication to her patients. In summary, the film intricately weaves themes of loyalty, ethical dilemmas in psychiatry, and the complex interplay between personal sacrifice and professional responsibility, giving viewers insight into the multifaceted life of Veronica West. The narrative involves Veronica, a psychiatrist, who becomes immersed in the complexities of her professional and personal relationships. The introduction of Brianna, a new patient, amplifies the tension in Veronica's life. Brianna, with her insomnia and nightmares, carries an air of mystery and exhibits a strong reluctance to disclose her past, making it challenging for Veronica to establish trust. The central plotline revolves around Veronica's attempts to encourage Brianna to embrace hypnotherapy as a means to confront her hidden traumas, adding layers of intrigue to their dynamic. Simultaneously, Veronica faces complications in her relationship with Matthew, a former patient. After deciding he no longer needs therapy, Matthew seeks a personal relationship with Veronica, despite her efforts to maintain boundaries. His uninvited visits and grand romantic gestures blur the lines between admiration and obsession, which both flatters and unsettles her. As Veronica's polite refusals turn into firm rejections, Matthew's persistence adds a sense of discomfort to her professional life. The film's tone darkens dramatically with Matthew's tragic demise. Overwhelmed by Veronica's rejection, he spirals into heavy drinking and ultimately crashes his car while under the influence. This tragic event leaves Veronica grappling with guilt and self-doubt, questioning her effectiveness as a therapist. Matthew's death serves as a significant turning point, forcing Veronica to confront the limitations of her responsibilities and the emotional burden that comes with her profession. Furthermore, Matthew's death impacts Veronica's other patients, particularly Brianna, who starts to exhibit erratic behavior. This development prompts Veronica to doubt her judgment, as her emotional turmoil potentially clouds her perception. The death also raises the ethical question of whether she could have intervened more effectively with Matthew. As the plot unfolds, the tension escalates with the break-in at Veronica's office, where a thief steals her laptop containing sensitive patient information. This incident introduces a new layer of trust issues and vulnerability. Detective Cortez, assigned to the case, uncovers that the thief seemed familiar with the office layout, suggesting an insider's knowledge. Veronica's commitment to her patient's confidentiality complicates the investigation, as she refuses to disclose their identities. Amidst the chaos, Brianna's behavior increasingly raises suspicion. Her growing interest in Veronica's personal life, along with her unannounced visits and probing questions, lead Veronica to suspect that their connection may be more complex than previously believed. The convergence of these plot lines encapsulates a gripping exploration of ethics, trauma, and the intricate boundaries between professional and personal lives. Recordings remain a source of anxiety for Veronica. As she processes the tumultuous events, Veronica struggles with feelings of guilt and betrayal, which compel her to reconsider her role in the lives of her patients and her commitments to them. Brianna's motivations are laid bare, as Veronica learns that Brianna believed her therapy efforts were insincere, perceiving them as a facade rather than genuine support. This revelation forces Veronica to confront her own responsibilities and the impact of her actions on the lives of those she tries to help. The unraveling of Brianna's agenda shines a harsh light on the complexities of the therapeutic relationship, provoking Veronica to reflect on the ethical boundaries that govern her practice. Amidst personal turmoil, Robbie's relentless focus on the book tour weighs heavily on Veronica. Their conflict intensifies, as Robbie becomes increasingly frustrated with Veronica's refusal to prioritize her professional ambitions over her personal connections with patients. The debate between the potential reach of Veronica's work versus individual therapy sessions brings forth significant philosophical questions about the essence of healing and support. It culminates in Veronica's realization that true impact cannot be measured solely by numbers or publicity but rather through authentic connection and understanding. The emotional depth of the film is accentuated in the climax when Veronica stands firm in the face of Brianna's accusations. The tension between the two women serves as a critical turning point for Veronica. Brianna's assertion that Veronica is culpable for Matthew's despair reverberates within Veronica, igniting a desperate search for closure. In her quest for understanding, Veronica must also address her own limitations, acknowledging the weight of her influence and the potential harm of unintentional neglect. As Detective Cortez, who has been pivotal throughout the investigation, retrieves the laptop, Veronica is faced with the reality of the fallout from Brianna's actions. The recordings threaten to undermine her credibility, yet they also serve as a catalyst for her introspection and growth. Ultimately, the narrative arc propels Veronica toward a renewed commitment to her practice, as she grapples with the painful truths of her past relationships and the profound responsibilities that come with her role as a therapist. The film culminates not just in a resolution of the external conflict, but in a deeply personal journey for Veronica, who must reconcile her experiences and emerge stronger, equipped to face the complexities of her future with renewed empathy and purpose. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.